I think this goes to show you just proof of how much irrigating, at least when you're initially establishing vines, how much of an impact it truly makes. Dean Family Acres. All right, guys, so we've got our Ruby Crisps here that we planted. If you hadn't seen this video when we planted these, check it out right here. We've got a couple that are left that the deer did not get. And I'm kind of surprised because they have hammered everything else. But in today's video, what I want to talk about are the two Ruby Crisp here and here that died back to the ground from the freeze in December. We were out of town. We did not heal them up like we probably should have, and they died to the ground. And I honestly thought we had lost them as we had kind of worked this trellis of approximately 60 feet specifically for Ruby Crisp. But they died back to the ground. So we're like, oh man, you know, I guess I'll just continue to water them, fertilize them, etc. I did, and they have jumped back up. One has gone gangbusters, the other one kind of sorta, but we have had constant deer pressure over here, and I know we need to do something. But I just want to show you guys what you need to do in regards to when you're training those young or you're repairing from a muscadine that's been attacked by a deer or something else, and what you're going to do in regards to promote that growth and help it go exactly where you need to. So let's go check this out. All right, guys, so this is the one that you can see. This is actually all dieback from last year. And I kept having it bush out down here, and you can see here, you do not want that. So just take that off. And you just want single leaves as they're coming up. So even this here, you want to take that off and let it come all the way up. Now you look here, oh man, we've got some extra growth. Single leaf, okay? Just come over here, pinch it off, and I'll leave a single leaf. Same on this side. Just leave a single leaf. All right, you can see I left a single leaf on this one, and it ended up continuing to sprout. You just come back behind it, just pinch them off. And honestly, some of this is deer damage. I had a good bit of growth, and deer have come back. Okay, so here I've already pinched off so that it will fork, and we've had additional growth on this side. So what I'm gonna do here is just pinch off. If you cannot pinch it with your hand, I would encourage you to get some pruners. All right, again, don't want that kind of growth coming off. That's just gonna suck energy and cause you to have more shoots coming out. All right, so you can see here, and it will go down, and this one will go down this way. Not bad considering we had it completely die back to the ground, and the deer have constantly been hammering it. All right, on this one down at the end, I probably should have taken this blue tube off because it has hampered the growth, and I know now, I've known why, but I know now why some people just can't stand it. Can't stand the blue X tubes. I don't mind them because if it's just a single year's growth, you can easily slide this up and prune off anything that's growing down in that tube. When it's something that has grown, I mean, we had growth all the way to here. That right there is over 10 feet. And we had growth all the way down here to over 10 feet. So we had 20 plus feet of growth on this vine last year, and it died back to the ground. Then it has come up. I've tried to train it to a single leader. This is growth in 1 year. Look at the size of that. And then I actually had it, and I pulled it here, and apparently I stretched it too much, and it split. And I thought about taping it, and I was like, you know what? That's not a good idea, because this is going to be my main cordon coming off. So I just allowed it to start growing here. No need to completely prune this off. Just allowed it to start growing here, and we will fork off, and hopefully that will grow more next year. I have tipped these some. You can see when they come out this far, if it's not down to the end, pinch them off. Some people will be even more drastic and pinch them and let them go all the way down. I've just learned if you want some fruit, you probably want to let these at least, if you want some fruit for that second year, you'll probably want to let a couple of these offshoots get out at least a foot or so. We will see how this ends up catching up. We've probably got another month left of growing, although it's supposed to be pretty cool this weekend. We will see exactly how it goes. Now, the other problem is the amount of growth that we've had down in this tube. It is absolutely crazy. I have pulled off leaves and just really kind of continually tried to prune this back. It's not too bad, but you can see there is definitely growth that is sucking from this. I need to pull off that Blue X tube. I've just kind of drug my feet with it. All right, guys, so that's our Ruby Crisp down here at the end. And then the, let's see, one right here. It's the one in the middle that died completely back. This one has definitely, here in the middle, has definitely got hammered by deer. Usually, if they'll get up and start running down, the deer might nibble on them a little bit, but I think they're just, the times I've caught them out here, it's been small deer that I think they're just curious and they're just trying to nibble, and they like the soft, tender leaves. So again, if you can kind of get them up and running down, they don't mess with them nearly as much as you would think. I'm gonna flip you around and let you see a couple different examples here on the trellis right next to it, and where we have messed up, and where I feel like it's been successful given the current conditions that we've had this one in. So let's check this out. All right, guys, so this spot here is where we planted the Pam, and the Pam died. Ison's policy, my understanding, is that if it does not leaf out, they will replace it. I think my issue is usually they will leaf out and then they die. So they're kind of using that energy. It is what it is. Honestly, I much prefer potted plants. Every one of these Ruby Crisp on this side were potted, and anything that I've had that's been potted has done really, really well. Anyway, so I'm just gonna walk down and tell you what each of these are, and then I'll flip the phone around and kind of talk about each and every one of them and what concerns or issues we have. So we had a fellow homesteader actually mail us. This is a Supreme, and you were sold out of Supreme basically everywhere. And he had bought an extra and wanted to use it. Well, thought he was going to use it, ended up not. So we ended up planting it there. Deer have been a problem on that one. This one here, we planted it as the same time as Pam, and this is Black Beauty. And it has done exceptionally well, given a couple of different things, which I'll talk about here in just a little bit. But we have definitely had some deer issues / concerns. But we have a very nice fork. You can see it did, this is where it originally came up. It was that long when we got it from Ison's, so it was a nice long bare root, but it has forked off and done pretty well considering everything that it has been through. All right, and then this is Late Fry. Late Fry has actually been in the ground for over a year, and it has dealt with deer multiple times. This area right here, our property line basically runs like right there down that fence line. It's just a little bit on this side of the fence line on back. Deer come out right there and eat on the apple trees and tons of other stuff on this backside, but they definitely, especially the young ones, I think just come out here and nibble. So Late Fry has not put on a lot of growth. It has been fertilized pretty much as anything else that's out here. Let me flip the phone around and kind of talk about each and every one of these and give you guys a general idea of just what we've kind of been dealing with. All right, guys, so just to kind of give you perspective, Late Fry, Black Beauty, and Supreme. And each one of these, again, Late Fry has been here since July of 2022. And then Black Beauty, I believe March. I'd have to go back and look at the video, but March of 23. And then Supreme would be probably May of 23. If you'll notice what looks different between this side and this side, that's right, the irrigation here. I still have not set up irrigation on this trellis, and honestly, that's a problem. I have my water lines and everything run so that all I really have to do is just run the line and set everything up. And I think this goes to show you just proof of how much irrigating, at least when you're initially establishing vines, how much of an impact it truly makes. I have a lot of people questioning and asking, do I have to irrigate? What do I need to irrigate? It's so expensive, etc. It's really not overly expensive. You can set it up, and come out here and water every day if you want to, just with a garden hose. But honestly, this drip system, as long as you kind of keep it up off of the ground where you can mow under it, it works really, really well. I would encourage you to get an automated timer. I did not do that this year. This year, I came out here and would just turn it on. And I would just set a timer on my phone and come back out here and turn it off. I did leave it on a few times, but that's perfectly okay. Everything did fine. But the biggest difference with these two, with this one and this side specifically, is just irrigation. It's not fully irrigated, and I honestly think that's why a lot of the growth has been hindered. Number two is deer pressure. So this is the outside edge. So I believe, I'm getting deer pressure kind of coming out from here. They're hitting this outside edge and nibbling. Not that they aren't nibbling on the Ruby Crisp, but I feel like they're hitting this heavier because I know that they definitely come up my property line. So basically from that corner and up. And it definitely makes a difference. And I know we've lost several feet of growth because of deer pressure. And honestly, those are the two main things. These have basically gotten the same amount of fertilizer, etc. The only thing I changed with my fertilizing schedule this year is I stopped the middle of July. I did not fertilize in August. And the main reason for that is just because of the dieback that I got on these Ruby Crisp. I think I really, really pushed those really hard to extend them. Those two on that end had the most growth. They really grew. They were pretty much 20 foot of growth on each of those. But those were the two that died back. The one right here had, I don't know, maybe about 12 feet of growth. It did not die. And I honestly think, I know this is a little bit higher elevation, but it's really not enough to make that big a difference. But honestly, I think it's because this one didn't get pushed as hard. And just the vigor, it did not push itself. So, it had some reserves going in to wintertime. So again, just I would strongly encourage you to water / irrigate your vines regularly. And I will also tell you, just watch out for deer pressure and put up whatever you need to. I think the blue tubes help, because they can't eat them all the way to the ground. I know I ran into that problem with this middle Ruby Crisp that died back. I'd already moved the tube. They kept eating it down. So I ended up actually putting a bucket next to it just to be something different there. And they kind of left it alone for a while. So those are the main things. And I would just encourage you with that as you kind of are enjoying your harvest for this year, as you move forward and you make plans for 2024 and planning late winter, early spring, or if you plan on planting in the fall. I would just kind of go ahead, get your ducks in a row to make sure and be able to irrigate and just figure out a way to keep deer off of them. If you've got deer pressure, especially if it's a main thoroughfare. So thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video as we kind of just talk about how our upper muscadine vines are doing. Don't forget to like this video, share it with friends, family, neighbors, etc. And don't forget, if you subscribe, then ring that bell like Mike Tyson. That's right, like he did in the 1980s. Thanks so much, guys. Y'all have a wonderful and blessed day. All right, guys, we're gonna taste one of our well-ripened Ruby Crisp. I ate one earlier after being out of commission for a little while in regards to being out of town and or being sick. I was really surprised I had this many left. I kind of expected them to be gone. So we will try this one. Y'all know a lot of people make comments about Ruby Crisp having no flavor, but when there's only about 20 on the vine and they all didn't get to ripen all the way, it does impact the flavor. And they honestly do have a little bit of muscadine flavor. It's not overly strong, like, ooh, wow, that's a lot, but it definitely does have more flavor than everyone talks about. That's one complaint about muscadine connoisseurs, is that Ruby Crisp just don't have the flavor. When they have a low production year, this is the first year that one's produced. In that situation, definitely do have flavor. So go check them out. If you hadn't heard of Ruby Crisp muscadines, check out our video in the description down below where we planted 3 and expanded that in 2022. Thanks for watching, guys. Matt Dean here from Dean Family Acres.